And then this guy has been on my list the entire season. So he is, if you haven't seen it already, he is 6'9". He's got a deep route running for a tight end. What is his 40 time? He has a 4.58 40. Look at the rest of his stats. He's the third strongest tight end. He has a 40-inch vertical at 6'9". He has a 10.8 broad jump. He's first leading in that and first in 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. And he's projected as a day 3 player. But his pass block is good. His deep route running is good. His stam is good. He's raw in a couple categories. His run blocking is really bad. He's more of a pure straight-up receiver. But imagine if we just left him out one-on-one against a DB. He at 6'9", man, with his vertical and his speed, he should catch it over anybody. The only thing is we don't know how good his catch in traffic is. It's between a B and a D. His catch itself is between a C and an F. So his catching ability is not that great, but that's something that we can at least work on. All right, guys, welcome back to another Madden 23 Lions franchise video. And once again, looking at the season recap, we ended up winning the Super Bowl, of course, with our first championship brought to Detroit. And Jake Zimmer was the Super Bowl MVP. Looking at the different awards for the season, we did win Offensive Rookie of the Year with Brian Jackson, which we already knew, and we won Defensive Player of the Year with Patrick Surtain. Other awards being given out to Jonathan Taylor, Trevor Lawrence, and Doug Peterson. We got one upgrade for Dontrell Parker, getting him from a 77 to a 78. We're going to boost his speed rushing just to make him a little bit more well-balanced. And with boost, he's up to an 80 overall. He gets a boost to his finesse and his pursuit. And I thought Dontrell would be superstar development because it looked like he had unlocked an ability slot. But instead, he is star development, and I'm not sure if that happened because of the amount of injuries he had over the course of the season or not. He did not get a whole lot of snaps on the team because of the amount of injuries he had. And his injury rating is an 86 with a +4 boost, so really it's an 82. But that has been an ongoing issue for him, staying on the field. All right, taking a peek at the roster overall after the season. Lionel Hibbert really is the starter at halfback. Again, it always gets switched, but seeing if anyone got dev upgrades. And offensively, no one really did. Aside from Brian Jackson for winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, he got moved up to star dev. Defensively, though, noticed a couple of changes. Sean Hazelwood is superstar development. He got an upgrade, and Tariq is now up to superstar as well. Surtain getting another upgrade. I thought he was maxed out. And anyone else getting another upgrade? I think Isaiah Simmons was downgraded from superstar to star. Nathan Wall is still at star dev. Dontrell at star dev, which we already talked about. But let's see, can Surtain actually even get another upgrade? No, he can't. Yeah, he's past the point of being able to get an upgrade because he's at a 99 at everything. Looking at 2024 retirements, do we have any major retirements? That is the question. Looking at... So Shelby Harris is the one person that's retired for our team, so not bad. One of our veteran backup defensive ends. And looking at players that want to negotiate contracts, Jalen Armour Davis is one that could be doing a negotiation. Nicholas Morrow played pretty well for us, but is a 70 overall at 30. Don't want to commit to him yet. I would like to get him for 2 years, see if he accepts, and he wants to go to free agency. And I'll let him do it. I mean, I don't want to overpay for a bench corner that is likely not going to get much PT. And with that, we're going to go into week 1 of the offseason. All right, now here is my thought process. LaMarcus Lawrence is signed for 1 more year, and he is an 86 overall right now at 33 years old. But he is by far our best run stopper. Second best probably being, I would say, Christian Harris. And then after that, Trey Hendrickson is signed for 1 year after DeMarcus. And Trey is 30 years old as an 87. And I think what I'd like to do is re-sign DeMarcus Lawrence long-term for a couple more years. We're going to get a discount on him. Probably not try to sign him for, what he's at right now. He's at 26 mil right now, which is just way too high for his level of performance. We don't need to worry about the cap right now, but we are getting close to the point where Jake Zimmer is eventually going to get big money. So with that being said, with Jake eventually needing a larger contract, Trey Hendrickson is the player that I think I would like to move off of because we can't have Trey and DeMarcus Lawrence both making this much money on this roster going forward into the future. Trey has been so good rushing the passer for us, but I think we got to move on from Trey at least. And then on the offensive line, Joel Bitonio is looking good long-term, but Corey Linsley is a player that is an 86 right now. He's regressing. He's 34 years old, making 12 mil per season. We may move off of Corey Linsley as well. And then Charles Leno is another player that we may consider moving off of. We only have him signed for one more year. He's a 78 overall at right tackle for us. He doesn't make all that much money, but it's possible we just keep him for the one more season and then don't re-sign. The last player we're looking to potentially trade is Colby Parkinson, who is signed for 5 mil per year for the next couple of years. And he is our third tight end right now behind Juwan Johnson and Quentin Posey, and we are drafting a tight end, and we're actually looking to trade for a tight end as well. So his role in the team, unfortunately, despite the fact that he actually did well in the playoffs for us, is coming to an end. He makes 5 mil per year as he's currently signed, and I don't see him being a part of the team long term. All right, so combine results have come in, and players I'm most interested in. Let's look at Jermaine Whitefield. So he is 6'6", and he ran a 4.57 40, which is very good for a tight end. Enrique Strickland, let's see what he ran. At 5'11", he ran a 4.47. That is pretty good. He's up there in a lot of different categories. I love to see that. So he is still a viable athlete as well. And then we got Philip Combs, who is a superstar athlete at the outside linebacker position. He ran a 4.54 at outside linebacker. That is very good. 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle are insane. He is very much a Nathan Walls kind of player who could interchange between safety and linebacker, and I like him a lot. Again, he's a second to third round projection, and then this guy has been on my list the entire season. So he is, if you haven't seen it already, he is 6'9". He's got a deep route running for a tight end. What is his 40 time? He has a 4.58 40. Look at the rest of his stats. He's the third strongest tight end. He has a 40-inch vertical at 6'9". He has a 10.8 broad jump. He's first leading in that and first in 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. And he's projected as a day 3 player. But his pass block is good. His deep route running is good. His stam is good. He's raw in a couple categories. His run blocking is really bad. He's more of a pure straight-up receiver. But imagine if we just left him out one-on-one against a DB. He at 6'9", man, with his vertical and his speed, he should catch it over anybody. The only thing is we don't know how good his catch in traffic is. It's between a B and a D. His catch itself is between a C and an F. So his catching ability is not that great, but that's something that we can at least work on. But this guy could be an absolute problem in the league. Doug Solomon, a 6'2" outside linebacker that we like a lot, ran a 4.6 40, and it looks, physically very athletic. Pursuit is an A. Man coverage is a B. I love to see that. Same in a very similar mold to Philip Combs, another pass coverage linebacker, but I think Philip Combs is better despite the fact that he is 3 inches shorter. And we're not going to dwell too long on the list of players right now, but so far very happy with what I'm seeing in terms of the top prospects that I've been looking at. And we'll revisit this closer to draft time. All right, so Deshaun Shepard, I like a lot at tight end. He is 23 years old, 6'6". He's got star dev. Now, the thing about him is he's basically the inverse of Quentin Posey, although Quentin Posey is a good run blocker as well, but this dude is just straight up like an extra offensive lineman. His impact blocking is an 80. His run block just straight up is a 75. And then where is his lead block? It's pretty good too, I thought. But overall, his blocking is really good. And so we're going to trade for him, and we don't need to offer a lot to get him. I think we can actually trade like a backup wide receiver. And Derek Young I like a lot, but it seems like they might be just interested in this straight up. Let's see if we can get a pick along with this. And I think we actually could get a 7th rounder. See if they take it. And they do. So they give us Deshaun Shepard and a 7th round pick for Derek Young, our bench wide receiver. Okay. We have traded Trey Hendrickson, Corey Linsley, and a 4th round pick for the 5th overall pick in the draft. And you might think that that was a reach. That's okay. We just needed to clear cap space a little bit. That was one of the main things we wanted to do. But we have more trades to make. All right, we're offering Colby a 3rd and a 4th for Durant, Duncan Durant, the 6'1" center with star dev, 24 years old, and we got the deal done. So we have replaced Corey Linsley on the roster, and now we just need some edge rushers. So we really need to fill Trey Hendrickson's spot, and we still need a right tackle as well. All right. The Patriots need a left tackle, and we're going to offer up Larry Borum, our backup, who has really seen no playtime. And Quentin Jeffries is 22 years old. He has normal dev. He actually used to have star dev. I think it must have dropped as a backup. But he's 6'3" with 91 speed. He's got 80 hit power. He's got 73 zone. Just a physically gifted player at 6'3" with 90 speed. I love a taller middle linebacker. And right now, we got Damon Clark in as our backup middle linebacker, but I think Quentin Jeffries fits the mold a lot better, and Damon Clark can be more of an outside linebacker like he used to be, potentially a backup outside linebacker as well. He did not really excel as a starter, and we're going to see if this trade goes through, and it does. So welcome Quentin Jeffries to the roster, and now we don't need to worry about middle linebacker in the draft. All right, we are finally at the most exciting point of the NFL season after the Super Bowl, the NFL draft, and the Browns are leading the way with the first overall pick. And we have a question on our hands. Do we want Manny Lindley as Damian Ward comes off the board from Texas, the outside linebacker? Again, I wasn't blown away with his athleticism and his height. He's only 6'2", but he is more of a power rusher at outside linebacker. But we have a question on our hands. Do we get Manny Lindley or do we get Brian Bright at tackle? We're going to have to decide that quickly. Eddie Colon at outside linebacker out of Bama. The benefit to Brian Bright is that he has really high lead blocking and he has really high bench press, whereas Manny Lindley is a little bit more of an agile tackle that is better with his run block and pass block finesse, and he is a little bit more physically... he's a little bit quicker. Jaden Clifford coming off the board at right tackle to Tennessee. And this is the last pick ahead of us from the Bengals. We're going to see who they end up picking. They recently drafted a quarterback. I'm curious to see who they take at the number 4 spot. And they are going to end up taking Von Morant, the corner out of Purdue at 6'3". This guy is a really great press corner, it looked like. He has really high strength. And so we got 2 minutes to decide. And this is basically the question. So we've got, let's see, at left tackle, we've got Brian Bright, who is 6'5". He's got A, impact blocking, A, awareness, B, pass block, C, run block. He is off the board on every category, 2 in bench press with 36 reps. He also is A in lead block. His pass block finesse is potentially good. His pass block power is not great, but his run block finesse is fantastic. His stamina is very low. But at right tackle, on the other hand, we have Manny Lindley, who I actually like above Vernon Wilson, who has AABB, and he is also off the board. His bench reps are a little bit lower. Pass block is still really high. His run block finesse is fantastic. He doesn't have the A lead block. But at tackle, is it that important? I don't know. I think his stam is between a C and a D. His injury is between a C and a D. And, it's tough. It's tough between the two of them. I feel like this is for the future of the franchise almost. And I think at right tackle, we are going to go with... This is so tough. We are going with Brian Bright. His run block is lower, but I see him with his A lead block. He could be fantastic. 22 years old, hidden dev, 90 strength, 84 excel, 72 speed. The future at left tackle, well, not left tackle, the future at right tackle for us, without a doubt, with the absence now of Charles Leno after we traded him away. But it looks like a stellar player. And now we just see who gets picked next. Vernon Wilson comes off the board. He was projected as a top 5 pick, but we had scouted him enough to determine that he was between a round 1 and 2 pick, so not actually that good. And we'll see who the Falcons take. They take Ramon Bruce. Cowboys take Russell Corbett, the halfback out of Utah. Packers, in division, they take Martin Palmer, the right end out of Oregon. Not a lot of depth at the edge rushing position in this draft. And the Colts take Manny Lindley. We'll end up seeing how good he is. Tony Sewell, the wide receiver out of USF, going to the Texans. George Johnson going to the Jets. Ronald Carter, I liked him a lot too, the right guard, but we don't need one now. Sean Mallard going to the Broncos. The Bears drafting Raymond Kidd or Ramon Kidd. The Niners drafting Dave Hood. The Bills drafting Morgan Smith, the middle linebacker. Jermaine Whitefield coming off the board finally going to the Patriots. The Eagles Going Devonta Gary, corner out of Western Michigan. Antoine Singleton, the corner out of Miami, going to the Dolphins. The Rams pick up a quarterback, Greg Merritt, out of West Virginia. I think that was the first quarterback off the board, huh? I'm pretty sure it was. Anthony Cross going to the Jags. J.J. Marshall, the right tackle, going to the Titans. Neil Kelsey, I liked him a decent bit. Middle linebacker going to Virginia Tech, but again, we don't necessarily need him. Chad Staten, wide receiver, the 6'5" wide receiver out of Oklahoma, going to the Seahawks. And Jared Goff has got a lot of weapons now. Joel Clinton, the halfback out of Texas A&M, going to the Commanders. The Chiefs drafting a center, Matt Larkin. That was a bit of a reach, I think. Ravens drafting Cam Wolfe, the wide receiver out of Oregon. We only have a couple more picks ahead of us. Right end, Brian Hurst getting drafted by the Raiders. Giants drafting Spencer Hopkins, and we are one pick away. And hopefully we don't get poached at number 31, and we don't, which means we're making our second pick, and our second pick is between Enrique Anderson, I know, a middle linebacker, but look at his stats. We don't know much about his actual physical skills. His hit power is pretty good, his finesse is pretty good, his block shed is pretty good. We don't know how good his zone coverage is, but he is off the board on so many different categories with a 4.41 40 at 6'3", 26 bench press, the number one in vert broad jump, number one in 20-yard shuttle, looks great. And then, so that's Enrique Anderson. But then at strong safety, we have Enrique Strickland at 5'11". He's got A hit power, A man coverage. We have a player comp of him that would basically translate to him being Antoine Winfield. His skills are great. His injury is a little bit low, but again, the man coverage combined with the hit power, along with a pretty fast 40-yard dash at 4.41. All right, I truly believe that Enrique Anderson could be a generational middle linebacker, 6'3", so we are taking him. And he has normal dev. Wow, that is a major L. But 90 speed at 6'3". Regardless, he could develop into a fantastic player. Now, he might end up playing outside linebacker for us. I'm not sure. We have Baron Browning and we have Sean Hazelwood, obviously. But could be. We don't know what his coverage skills are like. But that hurts. That hurts. I thought he would be hidden dev for sure. I thought he might even be a generational type of middle linebacker. Our next pick is coming at the end of the second round, and I'm really hoping our player stays on the board. I'm not actually sure if he will. To start the end of the second round, let's see, please tell me he's still available. Oh my god, I think they were taken. I can't believe it. Phil Combs came off the board. We may have to try and trade for him if it's possible. But, wow, that takes a lot of the players we were looking at off the board. And because the player we wanted to draft is not available here, we're going to trade this pick away. It's unfortunate. We're going to move down and maybe trade into next year's draft, getting a second and a seventh for next year. And our next pick is coming up in the middle of the third, and this is where we're going to make that pick of the tight end. He should still be available. I don't think he'd be getting picked yet. And okay, we're making this pick. In the third round, Dre Taylor, 6'9", 87 speed, 90 excel, 92 jumping, 75 strength, 83 change of direction. He has normal dev. I don't care, though. Don't care if he has normal dev. He's got A deep route running, A spectacular, or not A spectacular catch, A stamina. His short route is an F. Again, don't care. At 6'9", you can't teach that height. You can't teach it. He could eventually become an absolute unstoppable tight end. I'm still upset that we did not get Enrique Strickland or Phil Combs, but we just have to move on. We have a bunch of picks in this draft. We're drafting Casey Clinton. There's not a lot of options, I'm going to be honest, at the defensive end spots that are especially decent run stoppers, and a little bit of a reach, maybe. Can't lie. There's not a lot of great picks left. In the fifth round, though, we might be able to start drafting some of the players we still got on our boards. Hopefully they're still available. Kevin Shields looks like he still is, and I do like him. The thing is, we have so many linebackers. His block shed's terrible, but his zone is good. He's got 83 speed, 90 excel at 6'1". Could be another potential backup outside linebacker. I probably don't see it coming to fruition, but in this end of the fifth round, We're going to continue to draft some O-linemen. Seth Womack is still available. I do like him a decent bit at 6'7". He doesn't got the greatest skill set. He's got 63 speed, 73 excel. Again, can't really see those skills, so it's hard to really tell if that was a reach or not, but he has normal dev. We're drafting a backup QB because eventually, oh my god, he's terrible. Because eventually Kirk Cousins is going to be moving on, but 83 throw power, this dude is not making the final cut of the roster. I can tell you that right now. That is piss throw power. And in the 7th round, we got 2 picks. And I think we're actually going to try to trade these picks away. And it didn't even show what he was. It just advanced. He has normal dev. He's got decent change of direction. His speed is pretty low. Okay, let's take a look at the draft recap. It did not exactly go like I wanted it to. Let's look at the overall draft recap to start off with and see if there was any generational players in this draft. The highest overall was a 77, the D tackle that went 15th overall to the Bears. So, again, the Bears have a lot of good players. Let's see. He is hidden dev. They already drafted Otis Benedict earlier. And now let's look. We drafted the worst player in the draft, Matthias. So, Ward is a 75 overall with 80 speed. Let's see. At right tackle, Clifford was a 72. Bright is a 73. Vernon Wilson is a 73. And Lindley is a 74. I kind of expect him to be a little bit higher. He is also hidden dev, so we really are not going to know who is better between Bright and Lindley anytime soon. Anyone else? Mallard's a 77. Any other players that really stand out? Jermaine Whitefield is a 76. Let's see, this guy's a 73. Matt Larkin's a 74 center. And then Enrique Anderson is a 73. And let's go to round 2. And this is where Phil Combs got taken. And so did Doug Solomon. So let's see. So Enrique Strickland that we liked a lot. 76 overall. His comp was Antoine Winfield. He is normal dev. Makes me feel a little bit better about not picking him. But his hit power is only 83 for an A hit power. I don't see that as being A hit power at all. But as a 76 overall, he is a very good, strong safety. Sean Adkins and Garrison Holiday go. And Terrell Harvin. Anyone else? Let's see. So Neighbors, I liked him a decent bit. He looks pretty good. 91 speed. And Solomon, so he's the first one to go. He had 86 speed at 6'2". He's got 70 zone, and he is normal dev, so I don't feel too bad about not picking him. But where is Phil Combs at? Where is he? Let's see. So he's a 72. He's got 89 speed. He's normal dev as well, so I don't feel that bad about not drafting him. His zone coverage is not all that high. He was athletically just a freak. I mean, he's only 5'11", though. So I don't feel that bad. I feel pretty good about drafting Enrique Anderson instead of Enrique Strickland and not taking Phil Combs or Doug Solomon instead. I think I actually ended up winning on that. I got pretty lucky at the end. Is there anyone else we were looking at in the 3rd round? So Dre Taylor is a 61 overall. Oh, my God. Okay, taking a final look at our draft. So Brian Bright is a 73. Enrique Anderson is also a 73. The rest of our draft class is not good. I will say a 3rd rounder being a 61 overall is terrible, but the dude is 6'9", and he's got almost 90 speed at 6'9". His run block is terrible. His catch is a 65 without boosts. His route running is terrible. His blocking is pretty bad. He is incredibly raw. Probably the most raw prospect I've ever seen. But the physicals are insane. All the potential. He's got 99 stamp, so he's ready to go. His injury is pretty good. And I'm going to try my best, actually, to develop this dude into a tight end. You don't see 6'9" tight ends ever. So we're going to try to take this opportunity to just feed him experience in whatever way possible. Try to get him development upgrades. And he's going to play. He's going to play for us, and he's going to be like our 2nd or 3rd tight end. I don't care if he's a 61. We're going to get him up to a 70 quickly. And by the time he's a 70, he is a viable tight end. If it takes a year or two to get him to a 70, he'll be 24 at 6'9". It's worth it to me. It really is worth it. I don't care. We're making it happen. But anyways, Casey Clinton was our 3rd best player by overall draft in the 3rd round. And then Womack is a 64. Kevin Shields is a 63 with 83 speed. Brian Burns is a strong safety for us who, look at his stats real quick. I'm curious about him. His zone is okay. His hit power is decent. His block shed is not that good. Play rec is not that good. He is another player that can switch between safety or linebacker, truly. And I was kind of excited about potentially having Strickland or Phil Combs move between linebacker and safety, but I actually kind of think that Enrique Anderson could do that. So Enrique Anderson is not going to start at middle linebacker for us because obviously we already have 2 middle linebackers. We have Christian Harris and we have Quentin Jeffries. So Enrique Anderson is likely going to play outside linebacker for us. And we do already have Baron Browning. We already have Sean Hazelwood. But we may have, because his block shed is pretty high. His finesse is not that bad. It's almost in the 70s. I think he may be able to potentially take over for Baron Browning. But we'll see how things kind of shake out. This is another dude that with his speed, he could also play safety. With almost 70 zone coverage, I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to boost his zone a little bit before potentially doing a move like that. His stamina is very good, his injury is good, his toughness is okay. But his man coverage needs to go up quite a bit. It's only 57, so I think I'm going to work on him as a pass coverage player, and he could eventually move around the field a little bit more. Overall, this is not my favorite draft class. It is a very unique draft class. Enrique Anderson could be a player down the road. Brian Bright is an immediate impact player. We're moving him to right tackle. Clinton is not going to see the field most likely. Womack is not seeing the field anytime soon. And Dre Taylor is a project player. He is a project. We have nobody else that is a project quite like him. And we'll see if we can get him ready for the season. If you guys enjoyed maybe the worst draft I've ever had, truly might be the worst draft I've ever had. Thank you guys so much for watching anyways. But if you enjoyed it all, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe. And we are going to make this 6'9" tight end work. Enrique Anderson's exciting and Brian Bright's exciting. In the following video, we're going to get into our first regular season game. We might have a couple of highlights from the preseason as well, if we can get any with our 6'9" tight end now. I'm sure we're just going to just throw up some balls to him. And Matthias is going to play a little bit in preseason as well. One of the worst QBs I've ever seen with 83 throw power. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and peace.